Hey everyone, my name is Ryan Longman, and I'm a junior at Virginia Tech studying Sustainable Biomaterials with a minor in housing. And let me tell you what I did this summer. I was an intern for the Local Energy Alliance program, also known as LEAP. They're located in Charlottesville, Virginia, and they're a nonprofit that really specializes in making homes more energy efficient. So there I am in front of the office building. I actually lived there too. I lived in the basement. It was also a little apartment for me. So it was pretty cool to just put on my work clothes each morning and walk upstairs and get to work. So being an intern, it's best to find out what a company's biggest challenges are. So the first thing I noticed, or they told me, is they've already visited a lot of the houses in the area, but it was kind of hard for them to find new homeowners that were interested in all the programs that LEAP has to offer. So we kind of figured that the people, like the homeowners that have not reached out to LEAP or we haven't worked with, either don't know about LEAP or they're just not comfortable with having a person in their home changing the light bulbs. So I did a lot of work with Kelly. She's the outreach coordinator, and we did a lot of marketing together. I would promote LEAP's Facebook page. I learned that if you react to a Facebook post, like if you love it or have a laughing emoji or something like that, then it shows up on people's feed more than just a like. We also recorded a couple videos, might show you one later, we'll see. And we also wrote and worked together to write some articles for the local newspaper, the Daily Progress for Charlottesville. And one of my biggest projects was reaching out so that LEAP could work with UVA off-campus housing. There they call it off-grounds housing. And so this is a letter that we're going to send to UVA's Office of Sustainability. At first, that was not an obvious direct route. We thought that we would find some UVA students to help us install all these light bulbs, and they could give us connections about different realtors and places that really need energy efficiency. But later we realized it's summer and a lot of the student organizations aren't thinking about school. They're not really thinking about what they can do. They're not even meeting during the summer. So it was just better to reach out to their Office of Sustainability. And this project actually kind of got handed off to our executive manager. And I'm not exactly sure where it's at now. I know that she was meeting with a lot of the board members. But let me show you some of the things that me and Kelly worked on. This was an article. It was posted in the newspaper. This is just an online version of it, all about the link between water and energy conservation. There's tons of tips in there. LEAP's another one of their challenges. They were going through a transitional period, so they had a new executive director, and these were all things that I didn't know going into it. At first I thought, okay, this may not be that fun if they're going through all this transition and now they have an intern just following them around trying to learn what they're about. But by the end I realized that it was actually the best time that I could intern for them, because they had a LEAP employee leave and then they hired a new guy, but he wouldn't start until a month later. So I just filled that gap and did what I could. I was kind of known as a temporary client relations manager. So I was answering phone calls and scheduling energy audits versus what I was just doing the first maybe 5 weeks I was there, just installing LED light bulbs, Faucet Aerators, things like that, and looking at insulation and conducting blower door tests. So my role changed. I first started off just in the kitchen, just working at that table, and then later got my own desk with the phone right next to me. This is just some of the scheduling I would do. I'm the light blue, so each day there was someone I was meeting with so we could work on something. Whether it was visiting a home to change out the light bulbs through a weatherization program, or just like making a video with Kelly, like for their Facebook page. And this gets into more some of the sustainability side of things. On the left is just a regular 40-watt incandescent bulb, and we would switch that out with an LED bulb that uses only 6 watts. So essentially you could light up a whole room with LED light bulbs, and it would be using less electricity than just one of those light bulbs, one of the incandescent light bulbs. We also have Faucet Aerators. Both of these would normally use 2.2 gallons per minute, but these reduce it down to 1 gallon per minute. On the left is a bathroom faucet aerator, on the right is a kitchen faucet aerator. So it helps the homeowners save money with their water bill too. And also a low flow shower head helps them save water. And we also have hot water pipe insulation. On the left is a really good example of what LEAP did. You can see it looks amazing, looks really nice, just perfectly fit on there. On the right is a bad example, I don't know if you can see that, but I learned that even though the homeowner isn't saving that much more money, this is very minimal when it comes to comparing these two, but they would rather see what's on the left, because if you don't even have the right size insulation like they do on the right, then that just shows that if you're cutting corners that way, then there might be other ways you're cutting corners, and they didn't do a good job cutting corners anyways, because it doesn't even match up with the pipe. But anyways, this is some of their attic insulation. I would measure their attic insulation and find out how much more they would need, or if they needed any at all. This on the right, it should reach around 13 to 14 inches. So then we would contact a contractor and have them come out an extra day. So that's them on the left filling it up with more cellulose insulation. And I would also do these blower door tests. This is just a screen that goes over the front door with a huge fan that uses air pressures to measure how leaky a house is. And if it's the higher number, you can see 25, 20. The higher the number, the more leaky the house is, so maybe they need some more insulation, or maybe there's like leaks around their windows or something like that. Overall, I learned a lot. My main project with UVA housing turned out to be not as big as a project as I thought it was going to be, because LEAP was going through that transitional period. So they weren't sure if they wanted to dive into that right then while they had a lot of other things on their plate. So I still helped out in any way that I could, and ended up learning a lot about residential energy and really just how to save money in your own house. And I also learned how to run a blower door test, all of that. I learned how to use Salesforce, which was really useful for putting client information in and making projects. I learned how to schedule using Google Calendar. And probably my biggest takeaway is I learned what it's like to work for a small nonprofit and really work together to tackle projects and reach out to clients. And it was really cool. I learned a lot, and it was nice that I was working for a nonprofit, because it's not like I was trying to sell anyone anything. Instead, like the best thing I could say to them was that they would save money on their utility bills, which is something that everyone likes to hear. And yeah, I would just like to take this time to thank LEAP for letting me have this opportunity, and I really learned a lot. Thank you.